Well, hello, my fabulous friends. I hope you're doing well. Well, I thought I would do something a little bit different today, and we're going to do a little bit of a lesson how to use tarot cards along with astrology. So I've got the astrological clock, as you could say. I'm using the tropical. One of the differences I find, I keep it in my head straight, is tropical is based on the seasons on Earth. It starts on the first day of the vernal equinox, first day of spring, and then it's divided amongst the whole year until the last day of winter. So I look at it this way: the tropical one affects us here on Earth. The sidereal or the Vedic one is actually where the stars are in the sky. So to me, that affects more of your subconscious, your etherical, right? Because that's up in the sky and this is down in the earth. This is also called tropical because have you ever noticed on a globe there it says the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn? The sun never goes beyond that band. So it reaches its peak at the Tropic of Cancer, and that is the summer solstice. And of course, here in the Northern Hemisphere, it reaches its weakest at the Tropic of Capricorn, which is December 21st. And it never goes any higher than the line that's called the Tropic of Cancer, and it never goes any lower than the line that is called the Tropic of Capricorn. And that's why it's called tropical astrology, because it's based on that band of how of the where the sun is. And that's also why it's called your sun sign. And that's also why I like using this system along with the planetary system, the ancient planetary system, because I believe we come through the sun. We are souls. SOL, SOUL. I've said many times. So that's why I do sun sign, because that's your soul. That's your soul that has come through. All right. So how does this apply to tarot? Well, what I've done is I have taken this wheel here and now I've put it into tarot cards. Each tarot card has a astrological correspondence, even if it's just an element, like the aces. They're just the start of the element, whether it's fire, earth, water, or fire, earth, water, air. A little bit of a brain fart there, and isn't that funny? That was on air. Anyways, I digress. So there's 12 houses in the astrology, and there's 12 corresponding major arcanas for each of those houses. Not all houses are active all the time. So, well, they are, but they aren't. But right now, so rather, they're not all houses have planets in them at the same time. So, I mean, I guess could. I mean, there's only 9 planets. But there'll always be like a house or two that has nothing in it. So what I've done is all the houses that have planets in them, I've put their major arcanas here. So we have Taurus, we have Uranus in Taurus, we have Jupiter in Cancer, we have Mercury and Venus in Scorpio, we have Mars, the Moon, and the Sun in Sagittarius as of today. We have Pluto in Aquarius. And we have Saturn and Neptune. I'm just going to turn those around so nobody sees boobies. And in Pisces. All right. So I've laid all these out. So now that you know this, like, if you don't know what the planets are of each card, you can definitely get a deck and it will have the planet on them. I should have brought that out. After a while, you just know what they are. But you can buy learner decks and it'll tell you what the planet, what the astrological correspondence is, and then until you get to know them. So now I've laid this all out. So now we can go ahead and read what the general feeling for the people of the planet Earth. Okay, so this is the basic astrology for people who live on Earth. This isn't necessarily something. I mean, it can affect you, of course, because you are a person of Earth. But you would have to you'd have to make it your own house and stuff, which is much more complicated. I just want to show you this, how you can get a general feel. So, for example, what if you were to say, what's the economy going to be like? Well, first thing you would look for is Jupiter. And of course, you'd also look for Mercury, because Mercury is commerce, right? And you would look for those two, and you see that they're both in reverse. And what's our economy doing? Oh, that's another thing. I put them in reverse when they are in retrograde. Retrograde just means from Earth, when you look at it, looks like they're going backwards, but they aren't. It's impossible for them to go backwards. It's due to how we're all twisting along together. So you might want to think, oh, and then plus also we have the world in reverse. Oh, so the world economy isn't going to be that hot, right? This is really, really surface, like really surface level stuff. What if you wanted to see what's the general crime and general society going to be like? Well, you'd look for the world, of course, and Mars. And you see the world is in reverse and Mars is in Sagittarius, along with the moon and the sun. So generally the sun it's called combust. It can hide some of the things that are going on with Mars. So generally and right now we're having a new moon, so that's why the moon and the sun are in the same sign. You could actually do this reading every couple of days, and you'll see every couple of days things kind of shift. Not everything, of course, but maybe something goes, instead of retrograde, they're out of retrograde, and now they're going forward. The moon, of course, every 2.5 days shifts along. So those are just really general things that you can kind of look at. And then you can kind of read, okay, well, what does the Fool in reverse mean? Well, first of all, the Fool is Uranus, and it is in Taurus. And then you look and say, okay, well, the Fool is in reverse is actually being foolish. Something or I can be fooled, or it's easy to be fooled, or doing something stupid. Also, it could be hesitating, right? Because the Fool upright, he doesn't hesitate. Also, it's not listening to your intuition. This little dog hears your intuition. And it's in reverse, and it's on the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant is a teacher, is a leader. It's Taurus. It's Taurus. So it could be a leader in finance. A guru in finance might give you really bad information right now. You see how that works? Or they could be spouting something off. Taurus, the Hierophant's not a court card. So it's not really a person per se. It could be the Pope himself. Now, Uranus here is also surprising. Something shocking and surprising, and it's in reverse. Could the current Pope fall off a cliff, or lose his footing, or say something stupid, or do something stupid? So do you see how you can almost start some sort of predictions? And so you can maybe come and watch that. Also, if you're thinking of starting a course, like somebody's course or somebody's program or whatnot, This is going to tell you to be really careful with some of the contracts. It might not be the course for you. He might not be the teacher for you. Perhaps, perhaps right now, um, your financial advisor is giving you bad advice. So it depends on your own personal situation, right? Or you could just be saying, well, you might be able to predict the Pope or big religious leader or a guru of some type, because there's all different kinds of religions, is going to do something foolish, is going to fall, right? You're falling off a cliff, or is going to say something stupid, or is going to try to fool me. So see how that works? And that's going to be there for actually quite a while. The only difference you'll see in a little while is it starting to go forward again. And now you can say, well, this teacher's going to teach me a whole brand new way of looking at something. This teacher actually is, or maybe it is time to change religions or look at religions or start off on a new path based on what somebody has suggested for you. The Hierophant can also be um, a really good counselor as well. Doesn't it? Teacher, leader, pope. Because you think at the end of the day, what is a pope? Tending to his flock, teaching his flock about how the religion and whatnot. So anyways, it's in reverse now. So depending on your situation, if you're looking for a new financial advisor, I'd hold off until this turned around or moved into the next thing. But for right now, this is very active. So either your financial advisor could surprise you and find out they've embezzled everything, or they could surprise you and say, you're not going to believe how much money I made for you. I'm feeling right now with what the stock market is doing, I think it's really not a time to listen to a lot of these gurus, but this is just tarot card reading, right? You do you. All right, so the next house that is activated is Cancer. And if we look at Cancer, what is Cancer? It's mastering your emotions. Cancer is a very emotional sign. It's mastering your emotions. Also, you look, he's in a cement block. Everybody, movement, and you're going to move forward. This guy's not moving anywhere. He's in a cement block. There's no reins on here. This is controlling, having your mind control your emotions, because these emotions could run off in any direction if you didn't have control. You're controlling them directly through your mind. Also, if you look at the cement block, well, Cancer is that crab, has that protective coating around them. So hard on the outside, soft on the inside. All right. So Cancer, and we have Jupiter in Cancer. Now, that's generally a really good thing. But right now, it's in reverse. Cancer is in retrograde right now, meaning it looks like it's going backwards. What does Jupiter do? Jupiter expands things, but expands everything. Not only your bank account, but your debt account, your waistline. It can expand stories. In reverse, it can expand a lie. It really can. It's the Wheel of Fortune is Jupiter. Also, it's lessons. Jupiter teaches us lessons. Because if you look at the Wheel of Fortune, we've got four corners here studying. But it's all in reverse. So you're not learning your lessons. Especially, you're not learning your lessons when it comes to your emotional stability. This is emotional stability. And if you look at that little top is there, at any time somebody could spin the top and turn somebody can all of a sudden get you angry. Somebody can make you cry, right? I mean, it's you have to be in control. I also want to show you the Cancer also has the wand, just like the Magician and the World card does. And that is because you can create your own emotions. Your thoughts create your emotions. So anyways, I digress. So with the Jupiter on top of that, so could that also Cancer, this is also very military because it's homeland. It's protecting the homeland. This is the general at the gates of the city protecting the homeland. Cancer is home and protecting your homeland. So with the Wheel of Fortune here in reverse is somebody who is bound and determined to protect their homeland. Is this a time that is not going to be very fortunate for them? They have not learned their lessons. If this was upright, it would be like, yeah, I've learned all my lessons. I want to expand on peace rather than expand on war. And I think if you think about it, the blue and yellow flag, I think this is directly referring to them. So you could almost predict that, during this time that Jupiter is in reverse in retrograde, it's not a very good time for Ukraine. It's almost like this would be the time that they would lose. You could predict that, right? Of course, Russia also has a homeland, but I'm just saying, as a card reader, and you're intuiting the card and trying to get information and whatnot out of the card. To me, this card speaks more of Ukraine. Also could speak of the other country with blue and white stars. Perhaps, the ceasefire is not going to be stable. So in some respects, it's quite unlucky time for protecting your homeland. So you could, predict that in some respect. How would you personally take this? It would be taking as watch the maybe lessons you haven't learned about anger, maybe lessons you haven't learned about people who trigger you, um, that kind of thing. That's what, or maybe because this is in retrograde, this is time to go back. This might be a time to go back and finish that never-ending project that you started. Because remember, Jupiter expands, so perhaps you started a renovation on your home, and it just led to one thing to one thing to another thing. Before you know it, it's a year later, it's still not done. This would be a really good time to go back and finish that up so it stops expanding, because once this turns around again, it's going to continue to expand. All right, so that's how you can use that information. All right, so the next house that has planets in it is Scorpio, and Scorpio here is the death card. And what planets are in Scorpio right now? We have Venus, and we have Mercury retrograde. Everybody knows Mercury retrograde. They've heard of that. So you can look and see, how is this planet, how is the Empress in the house of death and regeneration? Well, right now we're in harvest, aren't we? And the Empress this is the time to look at what you've harvested, and that could be in anything in your body. What have you harvested? Um, have you not looked after your body, and so now it's in a terrible state? Or have you looked after your body, and have you lost some weight? Also, this is pregnant with possibilities during this death time, during this regeneration time. Maybe this is a great time to kick off a health program, a money program. This is Empress is Venus, which controls your money. Might be a great time to look at doing a new kind of financial plan. Just be careful of which planner that you use, right? Um, Also here we have the Magician in reverse. The Magician is communications and commerce, the trickster energy. So again, if you want to do any kind of regeneration in any kind of creative project, so fashion, for example, be really careful of trickster energy. So somebody says, "Oh my God, that dress looks amazing on you. You need to always wear that color." Be really careful. They might just be looking for a sale. I want to point out something here. Look at, I just want to point this out. Look at how Megan was in Harper's Bazaar. It's all trickster energy. She wanted to regenerate herself as a fashion icon, and it fell flat. So, as even though Venus is here and it's great for regeneration, especially uh, I was going to say, like, especially something that's very intimate. I was trying to look at my words there. This would be time. So, if you wanted to regenerate your sex life, for example, this is a great time actually to get pregnant. And you know why? Because Venus is in Scorpio, and so you regenerate. You're regenerating, and and you're pregnant with possibilities. Very fertile time when Venus is in Scorpio. But just really be careful who you get pregnant with. It's not a great time if you had any kind of beauty business, like a beauty, like hairdressing, um, like aesthetics, anything like that. If that's your business, it's probably not a good time for the business to change anything drastically. Even though you're on Venus in Scorpio here, with the Magician here, and unless it's something you started before, then it'd be a good time to go back and get it and finally get it done. But if it's something that you start during this time, you're going to find you're going to have to redo it. There's something about maybe the designer sells you curtains and you absolutely hate them, or something like that. Or you get talked into spending more money than you want to because you're like remodeling everything. That would be it's going to turn out to be a terrible time. If these two were together, I'd say you'd be able to manifest the money that you need. This would be fabulous if you wanted to go kind of do any kind of, like I said, anything like in the sexual department that you wanted to change up, whatever that is. Um, it's just really be careful who you're dealing with. Really, really be careful who you're dealing with. Um, just trying to look at what else here. Also, be really careful. This is going to sound. I don't. This is going to be sound really. Um, I don't mean this to be mean. Be really careful with what your mother has to say right now. Your mother might be going through a regeneration, like a menopause or some such thing, if she's young enough. Um, or some kind of change, like perhaps she's going from her home to a nursing home, that kind of thing. There might be something in here that your mother is regressing. That's the word I'm looking for. Regressing. All right. So if she says something to you, remember she's in transition right now. All right. So now we get to Sagittarius, and the sun has just gone into Sagittarius today. If you're a member, I've given you a little booklet, and if you're a teaching tarot magician member, you got some uh, layouts to do. So the sun has just entered into Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is put here as the temperance card. 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land. We've got another two here. Follow a path. They're always traveling. And that's because it's the centaur. And if you look at the sun, it's actually like you could almost see like a man and a horse here as well. So the sun has just entered into Sagittarius. So what does that look? Well, that looks like a lot of optimism because the sun is great starts, happiness. This is the angel of peace. So the sun has entered into Sagittarius. We got great optimism. People are maybe making plans to travel for whatever reason. But we also have the moon in Sagittarius, and we have the tower in Sagittarius here. There might be hidden reasons that you may not want to travel. during this Sagittarius time, especially right now. There are hidden reasons. This is the moon. The High Priestess is the moon. And the moon is only going to be here for a couple of days and it moves on. It'll be into Capricorn. Then it's going to actually be, there might be some surprising optimism. Right now, we've got some hidden activity, hidden aggression. It's hidden, it's aggression. I've explained before the tower, which is also Mars, has a dual face. The tower can be, it's a tower moment in your life. It's a moment you'll never forget. So either it's your spouse comes home and tells you they want a divorce and you're absolutely shocked, lose your job, car accidents, but it's also a lottery win. It's also the phone ringing and it's your dream job that you forgot about, that you applied for 3 years ago, and they want you and the money is amazing. That girl walks in and you instantly fall in love. So it can be either. But with the moon here, it tells me there's something veiled, and good luck is very rarely veiled or murky or hides itself. Right? There's no reason for good luck to be hiding behind a dark moon. Right? There's lots of reasons for an aggression to be hiding behind a dark moon so you can't see them. So in some respects, the sun is doing its best to shine a light on this, but you have to remember the sun is also diminishing. This is the last season, Sagittarius season, that the sun is diminishing. After this, it starts to increase again. So the sun is struggling to show us what this is. See, the clock agrees. So once you take the moon out, though, so in a couple of days when the moon moves on to Capricorn, now we might have an opportunity to, number one, we can clearly see what this aggression is. So, somebody's putting a bomb on a plane. Well, they're caught. Someone's coming at you, at 100 miles an hour. You see them in time and dodge out. So just hang on there for the next couple of days. Whenever there's a new moon, you should actually kind of be careful, because the moon is not allowing, is veiled, and the sun doesn't have the chance to spotlight on something. But once the moon moves over and it's just Mars and the sun, this also could show, because Temperance or Sagittarius it could be a sudden trip comes into your life. It could be a sudden aha moment comes into your life. Could it be money? Well, the thing is we don't have the money cards in here. If Venus was in here, like if Venus moves over here right away, possibly that could be a lottery win for some people, depending on what other things are going on. Especially if the magician turns around and if we have the magician and Venus all upright with Mars and the sun in Sagittarius, that would be indicative of manifesting amazing good things. The love of your life, money, whatever Venus wants to bring into your life, health, that court case goes your way. But for right now, well, we've got to deal with what's going on right now, and the moon is here today. So you have to look at Temperance here. When you look at some of the card, it's optimism. Sagittarius is a very optimistic sign, and so we do have some peace here. You think the Two of Cups is two people coming together, and we go back to this one, and we have Mars here right now. So perhaps in a few days the sun can be shining on the actual wars and coming to an optimism piece. I don't know when Jupiter goes positive again, but for the next couple of days you might be able to say there's going to be trouble in travel. Gemini, short-term travel, local travel, Sagittarius is far travel, foreign travel. So you might want to be really careful with that. There's unseen things going on with that might create some anger and aggravation in your life. Canceled trips doesn't have to be anything too terrible, but it creates anger and aggravation in your life. But also Mars is also passion. Be a fantastic time to start an exercise program. Absolutely. Or if you're in the business of selling military, that would be especially to foreign, right? Like Sweden has just been in Canada trying to sell us manufacture of their fighter jets, right? It's legal. It's the sun is shining on. It's not illegal activities, but they came at the wrong time. The moon is there, so there might be something there that there's something in the contract, or it's murky, or there's veil or something about it. If they just waited a couple of days, might have been a bit better time. They might have had better luck, kind of thing. So just wait a couple of days for the moon, and that's why it's so important to see where the moon is in all these houses, because then you just match up. Well, this card is secrets and things that are not meant to come out, and veiled, murky. Use your intuition, uh, and then you can kind of read about, predict, and kind of see if it's a good time to do something or not. The next house that has a planet in it is Aquarius. And Aquarius is the star, and it's hope and healing, and it's yeah, hope and healing is the star card in Aquarius, and we have judgment. And judgment is second chances. This is Pluto. And it's just entered Aquarius, and it's going to be here for quite a while. So this is a fantastic time for hope and healing, for hope and healing. And it just went forward. It was retrograde, meaning no chances for hope and healing. And it's funny, a lot of us have called, the end of the war in Ukraine and Russia, and it hasn't been happening. It hasn't been happening. It hasn't been happening. All of a sudden, yesterday or today, now there's 28 points or something for a peace deal. So now we just want to wait till this Jupiter turns around, and I think we're going to see peace in both wars. And so this is another reason I don't think there's going to be a World War III. I really don't. Even when Mars moves in here, well, there's second chances. They're at hope and healing, right? Well, as long as this judgment card is here, as long as this Pluto card is here, this is second chances in anything. Maybe second chances in, if Venus moves over, in love. Go back to your ex, or kind of thing, or second chances in hope and healing. Perhaps going through a big health issue. Again, it depends on exactly where it is in your chart. But overall, and I always look at this card, and I always think of England, because the flag is here. We might start to see some hope and healing in England. So does that mean a second chance of an election to elect people, right? Um, uh, Second chances for elected officials. Second chances. Are we going to see some pardons? People in jail who are getting pardoned. Are they going to get a second chance? We've got a couple high ones. We've got P. Diddy, and we have Ghislaine Maxwell. If there's any time to apply for an appeal, this would be it. And this is also for you as well. Again, depending what house it's in. Maybe you've applied for a mortgage and you've been declined. Well, might be try again. Pluto is now in hope and healing and second chances. Also, if you notice that Pluto has come around to when the United States, it's done its full circle. It takes 248 years to go right around. And so this is this second chance of the United States. And what is it? Make America great again. again means another chance. So, and we got the stars, right? So who knows where that's going to go? So you can do some predicting with that as well. Again, you'll want to watch Mars and Venus and the moon are quite fast moving. In a month from now, when it go, or 2 months from now, because this is Aquarius, we're going to have the sun here as well. Is the sun going to start to spotlight on some of these second chances and bring more hope and joy to everything? Because you have to remember, the star is the sun. So is it going to double up? So it's something to really look forward to. Again, another reason why I don't think there's going to be World War III, and I think there's a lot of hope coming, for some hope and healing is coming for some countries, depending on where this is in your chart. All right. So the last house that has um, any planets in it is Pisces. And Pisces, this is, I know a lot of people get confused because this is the moon. It doesn't depict the moon in astrology. It depicts Pisces, and the moon. And the High Priestess is the moon, but yet the sun is the sun. I know I don't make the rules. I just have to live by them. All right, so we have Saturn in reverse and Neptune in reverse in Pisces. And Pisces is the last house. It's really full of a lot of endings. And if you look, it also has the sun in it, the sun and the moon. This is an eclipse. So this means things that change, right? Because the last house, then you start again. So that's a change. I hope I said that right. So right, so you go from the last to the first again. So you change. It's almost like the snake shedding skin or the butterfly kind of thing. Now with Saturn in here and it's in reverse, this is a lot of things are having a difficulty being completed. And then we go back to what else is in reverse, right? So things are having difficult being completed. Also, when the world is in reverse, it's not a great time to travel. And we see that here with Mars in the sign of foreign travel. Um, and also we have Neptune. The hanged man is Neptune. And what's interesting about Neptune is when it's upright, you have to look at things from a different point of view. Not everything is clear. Things are kind of murky because you're looking at them upside down. And it's encouraging you to look through things and look at things from a different point of view. When it's in reverse, when Neptune is in reverse, you can finally see things from a different point of view, and the fog somewhat clears, and it almost gives you permission to move forward. Now, this is based on tarot. I know there's some astrologers who are like clicking away right now. I'm telling you just what the tarot cards are saying, that Neptune is giving you a once in a while chance, because we know the moon is also very murky card, very emotional card. Um, a lot of people ask, what is this? This is the progression of, that's why it's like the progression of um the signs. Right, so we came out from the water as fish to create, to move, you could move onto the land, and then from a wolf to a dog, right? It's the progression. Darwinism, that's the word I'm looking for. And here's the path to continue on it. It's a continuous cycle, right? Of, you end up in the 12th house and you start in the first house again. But it's a long path, and the world here, or Saturn in reverse, is telling us that you may have to go back and do something, or the path is going to be somewhat difficult right now. Also, the moon and Pisces is a bit of a karma card, and so is Saturn. So while Saturn is in Pisces, a lot of people are getting their karma. And when it's in reverse, it's not the karma you want, it's the karma you need. It's the karma that you created. And the hanged man here, the Neptune, is telling you have to look at this karma from a different point of view. So if your spouse left you and you're shocked here, you actually have to look at that and go, well, how did I create that? And look at it from a different point of view, rather than yelling and blaming and calling them all kinds of names and creating a 20-year war, like some people I know. You have to look at it from a different point of view of, how did I create that? What is my karma in this situation? If your business goes bankrupt, you have to look at it. What's my karma with that? What's my karma with that? How did I create that? Because that's the only way you're going to set yourself free. You're going to be able to bend over, untie, and walk on and start the cycle all over again. So you might notice a lot of people are going through a lot of difficult karma right now. Because it's dropping the veil. Once the moon moves away from the sun, you can see clearly and you can start again. And the sun is always exalted in Aries, and that's the next sign. So it's very, when you know all the esoterics of it, when you know to walk through the pillars. This is the two sides of the brain, the two hemispheres of the brain. And that's why sometimes it's the lunacy card. It's, can you put everything together and realize what your karma is and all of that, and especially when Saturn and Neptune are there. Now, when Saturn and Neptune turn around, if they're still in Pisces, not sure, might move on to Aries, then everything is completely different again. Now, something will be completed, and now it's up to you to. It might be murky. You might not understand what's going on. Perhaps you get laid off at your job, so you're done that job, but you don't understand what you've done wrong, or you don't have the full, complete truth of what happened. I'm going to give you a really good example of Neptune going over a planet. Right when Neptune and another planet are together, Neptune dissolves things. It's a very watery sign. It dissolves things. So it dissolves the murkiness of something going away so you can see clearly. It rules film, for example. You don't, that you think that movie is real. You think you're sitting right there with that couple while they're discussing something. You think you're in the same room, but you're not. This is the best example I can give you of this. When Harry got married, his Neptune was, I believe, over his Venus, was with his Venus. And what that did is it dissipated the truth of who he was married. Plus, he looked at her from a different point of view, probably just love rather than the whole picture kind of thing. And Neptune takes a really long time to move through a sign, about 7 years. It does to move like halfway through. I think it's 14 years in a sign, and they're at 7 years, and Neptune has just moved off his Venus. So now he's starting to be able to see the truth. Didn't go retrograde. He's not free, but it's now moved away from those, and now he's seeing the whole picture. He's seeing what was dissipated. He's seeing through the fog. And if you look, that's what this whole card is being able to see things different, see things clearly, see things from a different point of view. And you're not looking at things normally. Anyways, with Neptune in reverse, that's one of the planets, to me, in my mind, because of what the tarot tells me, is when Neptune's in reverse is when you actually can free yourself from the truth. You not freeing yourself from it, you can see the truth. So how would you predict something like this? Well, I think a lot of people are going to get their karma and it'll be the end of them. And you know what this is? This is the Jeffrey Epstein files. They're going to be released. There's going to be a lot of redactions. We're not going to see the whole picture. A lot of people are going to get the karma. Karma's coming for them. Saturn is the karma queen. And we're going to see a lot of people from a different point of view. Like the celebrity of them is going to be tarnished. The shininess of them is going to be tarnished. We are absolutely going to see, and we might move on from a lot of those celebrities like Oprah. I think we already have started too, but karma's coming, especially in Pisces. Especially in Pisces, because it's the progression of what you've done, right? And if you you continue on that path, here it comes. So this is, to me, this is the Jeffrey Epstein files being released on the world. And we'll see people from all over the world. And I think a lot of them are going to be kind of shocking. And when that goes back to here, because the moon is going to progress over here, and here it comes. The spotlight is going to be heard around the world. I think we're going to be shocked by a lot of them. All right. So that was a little different. I know not everybody is that involved with tarot, but I'm just showing you a way that you can use tarot to kind of do predictions, to kind of do and figure out what the world is like out there. Like, if you had the magician and Mars together in one house, my Lord, I wouldn't be leaving the house. And remember, like, you only have to do this every couple of days. The fastest moving planet, the moon, only changes every 2.5 days. So even if you did this once a week, a lot of these planets you'll find don't move for years, but other planets then come and join them. Plus, I'm going to tell you the second thing you can do is now you can do clarifiers. And you pull your deck out and you go, okay, clarify this for me. And you pull a few cards on it and then read it. And you have a pretty good prediction of the projection that's coming for you, the energy that's right now. And then you can pull some clarifiers and see where it's going. And you can also see where it's going just by shuffling. And sometimes, like, you're adding another house in here, and sometimes you're taking them away. All right. All right. There's your teaching tarot lesson. If you haven't joined Teaching Tarot, please come join us. It's only $9.99 a month. That's US, $14.99 a month Canadian, and I have no control over that. I have control over the $9.99, but what YouTube charges Canadians or Australians or the Brits, I have no control over that. That's their own internal currency exchange. So please don't email me and ask me to give you $9.99 in Canadian. I can't. I wish I could. I'm Canadian. I feel your pain. I can't. If YouTube charges you $14.99 Canadian, I can't change that. All right? All right. Thank you very much for watching. Please take good care. See you online. Bye for now.